All right, guys, we are on record. So we are starting time, speed, and distance for today's class. And this is going to be one of those sessions which is going to be very important for any aptitude exam, be it a CAT or a GMAT or any aptitude exam. Okay, let's say a state level exam like that of a NMAT, ZAT, ZAT although is not state level, but um there's only one Excel college which is very good in India, which is XLRI Jamshedpur. But yeah. Okay, before I start the session, guys, I just wanted to confirm with you guys that there are some challenger questions left from the sequences and series, and I would be very happy if you guys, go and let's say at least try the questions from the challenges questions from the sequence and series chapter. Once everything is over, we'll get back to those things. Okay, as of now, my single most priority is that we should complete the syllabus as soon as we can, right? So that is about it. Now, let me start off this session by giving you some brief ideas on what time and distance is. And also let me tell you what exactly are we going to study in this chapter, time, speed, and distance. Now, as an anecdotal question, this is something that I ask all my students in all my sessions is that, do you guys ever have ridden a vehicle of your own? And the answer to that is yeah, maybe, our parents' vehicle or our friend's vehicle, or, we may possess our own vehicle. Okay. So a very simple anecdotal question that I keep on asking as a intro to this class is that what is an average speed from a particular location to another particular location that you travel in your vehicle? And typically the type of answers that I get is, sir, the average speed somewhere around is 30 kilometers per hour, 50 kilometers per hour, maybe 40 kilometers per hour. That is our average speed. Okay, now forget about average speed for some time and just focus on speed. Okay, speed is some kilometers per hour. Now, if I just, look at this kilometer, this is a representative unit of distance, and this hour is a representative unit of time. Now, there you have it, the formula, the infamous formula for time, speed, and distance, that speed is equals to distance upon time. Okay. Now, guys, I'm expecting that you guys are grown up enough to realize that either if I write speed is equals to distance by time, or if I write distance is equals to speed into time, or if I write time is equals to distance upon speed, one way or the other, all of these expressions you can say are the same thing. Equation also you can say, it's not an equation by the way, it's a sort of a relation. And as a student of an aptitude exam who are thinking to get a good score, you should be very much, let's say, adaptable to this thing, that suddenly if I ask you if there is distance given, you can be very swift in converting it to a, let's say, speed and time. If you are given time, you should be very thorough with, let's say, understanding. If time is given, it is distance upon speed. If distance is given, it is speed into time. If speed is given, it is distance upon time. So these are the basic things that is expected out of you as a student. Now, as a faculty, if there is any, hold on, Varun is here. Okay, hi Varun. Can you please confirm to me once if you can hear me?
I'm sorry for the delay. I was actually.
Okay, that's okay.
It
We
was a.
haven't, yeah, we
Okay.
haven't really gone too far. Have you?
Okay.
Can you see my screen? Am I
Yes, I can.
audible?
I can.
Okay.
Okay, sorry. Pretty
I'm
audible.
just okay. I'm just giving a definition of time, speed, and
Okay.
distance. We haven't gone any further, so you haven't missed anything
Okay.
substantially.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
And today, this session will be a little longer, so have patience. Obviously, not above or not ahead of 1 p.m.
Yeah.
1 a.m. Sorry, 1 a.m. Not ahead of that. I'll try to keep it at that. But it'll be a sort of a longer session, so just have
Yeah.
some patience. Yeah.
Sure.
Now, time, speed, and distance, as I was mentioning, this formula, either you can call it a formula or you want to call it whatever, I don't care. Speed is distance upon time. Distance is speed into time. Time is time, distance upon speed. You should be thorough with all these formulas at once. It shouldn't be like suddenly I forgot what is time, right? So the fact that I was telling you is that I generally tell my students to keep this thing in handy, that time into speed is equals to distance. Now, why is this very handy to remember also? Because this is one of the ideas of the AB rule that you have, that I have told you, the product constancy rule that I have explained you in the chapters. And I think even Soumya will relate to this thing, that, I have told you that if two variables are, let's say the product A into B is equals to C, and over here we know that A and B are variables. That means A can vary, B can vary. And I'm assuming by setup that C is constant. Okay, then a lot of proportionality relations we can bring out of it, right? Now, obviously, I haven't really elaborated a lot on this one, product constancy and stuff, and it is not required also. But going by the very model of the type A into B is equals to C, you can see a similar type over there. Time into speed is equals to distance. And obviously, because it's an aptitude exam, either one of the variables is going to be constant, and you're just supposed to play around with the other two variables, if that makes sense, right? So it is always a good idea, before we go to the exemplar questions, it is always a good idea to repeat this thing couple of times in your mind, that time into speed is distance, time into speed is distance, time into speed is distance, speed is distance by time, and distance is speed into time. So if you just, let's say, regurgitate this thing couple of times in your brain, you're never gonna forget it. Obviously, logic is this one. What is the average speed at which you drive your vehicle? Sir, 30 kilometers per hour. Sir, 40 kilometers per hour. Kilometers per hour, distance, time. That's it. Okay. Now, this is the only formula in the topic, in the chapter time, speed, and distance. And yet you will see many, many, many more ideas, right? This is actually a humongously big chapter. If not done properly, it can really scar you your entire preparation. So I'll make sure that the theory part is done very elaborately. Having said that, now let's discuss the subtopics of time, speed, and distance. Okay, these are the topics that are there in this topic. Okay, so the first topic that is over there is obviously the relation between time, speed, and distance, which we just now discussed. Okay. The next thing is going to be average speed, the idea and the notion of average speed. What exactly is average, and what is this average? Okay, there are many conceptions, notions, misconceptions in students. Will debunk all of them in this class. So average speed. The next topic in line is going to be proportionality relationships. Or you can, in simple words, you can say proportionality between, obviously, the contenders, time, speed, and distance. The next subtopic is going to be relative speed. Okay. And in relative speed, basically, you'll have trains crossing and all that. So this is something that you should take into consideration, right? Then the next part of the subtopics and time, speed, and distance, which we are going to discuss in our classes, is going to be streams. Now, streams typically are, I am pretty sure you have, solved problems upstreams, downstream. This topic is also called as boats and streams, but I mean, I call it streams. Okay. And finally, races. And in races also, there are two subtopics. One is linear races, and the other one is circular. You can also categorize in circular races as circular tracks. You can call it circular tracks. So I'll just pause for like 10 seconds, 15 seconds, if you want to write this thing down, or maybe if you want to take a screenshot, so that you know in which order we are doing our classes. So this is going to be the order. So I'm just going to be silent for 10 seconds and then we'll proceed with a exemplar problem. Okay. And please give me a like hands up or whatever like that. I should know that, you guys you're done with it. Yeah. Varun has raised. Varun, you want to ask anything?
No, nothing particular.
Okay. Okay. Oh, you've done a screenshot. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yes.
All right. All right. Let's go to the first exemplar question and let's try and understand. Obviously, this is one of those topics which is very easily understood with examples. Otherwise, it becomes very difficult for us to, you know, I'll zoom in and please tell me if you can see the question properly. This is a question which is directly going to use the idea of the relation between time, speed, and distance. Okay. Over here, it's a simple question. It wouldn't take a lot of time. I'll read the question for you. While going from Pune to Mumbai, I travel from Pune to Lonavala. Hold on. I'll just highlight a couple of things. I travel from Pune to Lonavala, a distance of 40 kilometers at a certain speed. I don't know the speed. And from Lonavala to Mumbai, a distance of 100 kilometers at twice the earlier speed. If I took a total of 3 hours for the entire journey, find the individual speeds. A good one. Okay. Now, guys, do you want to take some time to solve this? You can unmute yourself and tell me, or shall I start explaining? This is not at all a difficult question. Let me tell you, this is the basics.
1 minute. We'll do it.
Okay. 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 I'll give you a minute. I'll give you 2 minutes. Okay. Varun, you can also solve it now.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So 1.5 minutes, we'll wind up. I mean, then we'll go into the explanation. I'm just gonna come back in a minute, guys. Yeah, in a minute, I'm coming back. Okay, I'm back, and I'm hoping that you guys may have an answer.
I need another minute.
Okay.
Sir, one is that
Varun, can you just send me the answer in the chat option so that if the others are like, if you are giving me an answer, might as well send it to the chat. Yeah. Okay. Good. This is not a difficult one. Also, I mean, and Varun, I mean, where exactly are you? Have you been able to solve this one?
me?
No, no, no. You to give me the answer.
No, sir.
Varun, is this like doable or some issue with it?
No, I mean, I will.
Okay, okay, okay. I'll give you 1 minute. Okay, 1 minute. If you're not able to solve it, it's okay. But I'm just saying that just think on it. Just scribble anything that is going on in your head.
Okay.
Soumya, any leads?
No, I'm kind of stuck at a point.
Okay, so let's do one thing. Let's start with the explanation, right? And in any point, if you guys want a, let's say, if you want to poke at it, you'll just ask me. I'll get back. So the question is pretty straightforward. It gives you some of the ideas, which is while going from Pune to Mumbai, and you realize that there are actually two stretches. The first stretch is Pune to Lonavala, and the next stretch is Lonavala to Mumbai. Okay. Now I can also categorize this as my first part and this as my second part. Now, in the first part, when I travel from Pune to Lonavala, what is the distance? Now, I don't really need to list down the things in a scribble pad or in a notebook, whatever. The fact of the matter is, when we are learning, when we are starting out our preparation, it is always a good idea to just, keep those points with you, which are very essential. For example, the one that is given to me, a distance. So from Pune to Lonavala, the first thing I can write over there, the distance is given 40 kilometers per hour. Okay. Now, at a certain speed, obviously, we don't know what that speed is, but I can assume that speed to be x. Okay, because the other part says that twice the earlier speed. So speed is given to you, but in unknown variables, right? Now, don't worry too much about the other part, guys. I'm just asking you guys a simple question. If distance is given, speed is, let's say, you can inference through the question itself. What is the next thing that has to be there? Obviously, time, na? And can anybody quickly tell me what is the formula for time? It is very easy, na? It's distance upon speed, so it has to be 40 upon x, na? So far, so good. Now, what about Lonavala to Mumbai? Distance is given to us 100. Do I know the speed? No, I don't know the speed, but I know it's a twice of the earlier. So I have taken that to be x. As at this point, you may ask me, sir, why is it that you are taking x? You could have also taken it as s and 2s. Anything works. I don't mind. Time. Obviously, the two things, one is directly given to you, the other one is inferred. And obviously, technically, you deduce the time, which is nothing but distance upon speed, 100 upon 2x. Now, with these two things, I can't really do anything. Okay. Now, see what the the last part of this statement says. If I took a total of 3 hours for the entire journey, find my individual speeds. Now, guys, this is my first part of the journey, right? This is my second part of the journey. If I add these two journeys, is it not going to be my entire journey? Hello? It is going to be my entire journey, na? And in my entire journey, all of you guys, the first stretch of time is 40 upon x. The second stretch of time is 100 upon 2x. It pretty much now you have understood in your head that the total time is nothing but 40 upon x plus 100 upon 2x. That is equals to what? 3 hours. This is according to the questions and according to the statement. All I need to do beyond this is just solve this thing mindfully so that I don't end up making any calculation error. Okay. Now I'm solving it over there. I'm changing the color so that you don't have any problems. Okay, you guys. So I'm changing it to the orange color. Now, guys, I'm telling you one thing. Please pay attention to this thing. all these ideas go out for a toss if you make a calculation error. That is, in my language, I call it silly errors. If you make a silly error, all the brainbazi, all the heroism goes out for a toss. So please double check your calculation. I make calculation errors. I'm telling you this thing. Even I make calculation errors. So it is pretty evident that you guys can also make calculation. And anybody, it's a human error. It's a silly error, human error. So please double check. Okay. And please recite your tables and everything properly. Now 100 upon 2x can very well be reduced to 50 upon x. This is 40 upon x, 50 upon x, that is 3. And one thing that you should always check out for, what is the unit? So this speed is in kilometers per hour. You should always check these things. Okay. Otherwise you'll not have any problem. Now, if I take 1 upon x as common, I can basically get 50 plus 40, that is 90. That is equals to 3 hours, or you can, check out the hour at this point. You can cut this as 30, send this x to the RHS, and you get x is equals to 30 kilometers per hour. Remember, what is x? X is the speed that is covered in the first stretch, Pune Lonavala. And what is the speed that is in the second stretch? That is twice of this thing. That is 60 kilometers per hour. This is the answer to the question. Now, I'll keep quiet and I am going to ask you guys to internalize this and ask any doubts if at all there is any.
So when I was doing it, like where I messed up was, I took T as T1 and then the other T as T2.
Okay.
So yeah. So I obviously did not get the right answer.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can do something about that also. We can take the variable as t and the other. But yeah, so there is a problem, Soumya. See, if I take time as my variable, the problem is that I don't have any information about the time. So nothing I can deduce about the speeds. So if you see now, I very logically proceeded to time. It's not that I am not acting according to my whims and fancies. I'm acting according to how much the information is given to me, how much I can infer and what I can deduce. So time that I have taken is from a logical process. I'm not just taking it just out of curiosity or, I feel like it. And I'm not saying you're doing it like that, but I'm just giving you my uh, overall understanding, right? There is a possibility with time also. I'm just not, I mean, I just don't want to like digress that, otherwise I'll look into it, right? So let's go to the next exemplar problem, if this is okay, or if you guys want to take a screenshot or anything, you can take it. In other cases, the recording will be there, so don't worry. Okay, shall we go to the next one, all of you? Is it okay?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right. So now this is a very interesting question, and none of the, you know, shortcuts or the smart cuts we will be using. We will be solving it using the relation of time, speed, and distance only. I'm telling you, there are students, and you guys will also be among those students who will solve this question in a jiffy, in about some time. Okay, in maybe 2 months, maybe 4 weeks, 5 weeks, yeah, not exactly 2 months. And I'm telling you, you guys will be able to solve this question in a blink of an eye, in a jiffy. But as of now, we will stick to the relation approach. Okay. I'll read the question for you guys once. In this question, it is told, in morning, I go from home to office at a speed of 40 kilometers per hour. And in evening, I come back from office to home along the same path at a more relaxed speed of 30 kilometers per hour. Hence, in evenings, I take 6 more minutes than mornings. Find the distance from home to office. And I'm giving all of you guys 2 minutes. Okay. And anybody who has an answer, you can comment the answer in the chat box. And others who don't want to see the answers can just ignore the chat box. Yeah, so
So is that correct?
720 is what, Varun? Like,
Uh, Kilometer. No, no, no.
you
Okay.
messed up something, and I'm
Yeah.
not gonna say any further, and I'm pretty sure
Okay.
you'll get it.
Okay.
Okay. I keep on saying, please don't make calculation errors, right? If it's a calculation error, please don't make it. Again, this is a simple one. It's not a difficult question, by the way. Yeah, Varun, you were sending answers left, right, and center. Once you're sending me personally, and then in the, anyways, yeah, it's correct. I'm not
Okay.
gonna say it. I'm not gonna spell it
Yeah,
out,
I
but
got
yeah,
it. I
it's
got
correct.
it. I got it. I got it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I've also sent something.
Okay. Ek second, Soumya, you've sent me this thing. Ek second, no, but I haven't gotten any answer. So yeah. Oh, it's you. Yeah. Okay. Correct. Absolutely correct. Varun, do you want some time, or do you want to like? Do you want us like?
I got it. I
No.
got it.
So I mean, we will be equaling the equation. That's it. Right? I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
just
yeah, yeah. Obviously, this is a silly one. I mean, not silly, but
yeah.
this is an easy one. So, like, do you have an answer, Varun?
No, sir, some calculation error. I mean, I equalized the equations, but I don't know where I missed
Okay,
it.
okay. So let's start then. Okay, let's start because I am pretty sure that you can solve it. Okay. So the idea that is coming to my mind, and guys, I am again saying, it could be like completely different from what you are thinking in your head. I'm just trying to elaborate what is going on in my mind. Okay. So I'm more of a visual person, so I like to draw diagrams and stuff. So home and office, I always represent it like this. It's said that from home to office, I always travel at a speed of 40 kilometers per hour. And I am just telling you this thing, that all this kalakari, all this, pictorial representation, you don't need to do. I am, it's my responsibility to showcase whatever is going on in my head as far as, my capabilities allow me to project that into the white board or blackboard, whatever. So you don't have to do any of this thing in your notebooks or your scribble pad. If you do it, that's okay, but this is not important anyways. So home to office, I know this is something that goes on in my head, that 40 kilometers per hour. And then when I come back, I'm coming back at a relaxed speed of 30 kilometers per hour. Okay, so far so good. Now what is the one thing that I noticed? The one thing that I noticed is that home to office, the distance does not change. It is the same distance, obviously. So it only makes sense that I should equate the distance in the first part, or let's say part 1 ka distance is equals to part 2 ka distance. Now, do we know what part 1 and part 2 is? Part 1 is my journey in the first case, which is in the morning, and part 2 is my journey in the second case, which is in the evening. Now, at this point, if you would just pay attention, they have made us, they have thrown a simple googly at you, which is they have given the speeds in kilometers per hour, but the time that you take a little more than the previous one is 6 minutes more than the morning. So you have to be a little bit mindful of that thing. So what is the formula for distance? That is time into speed. Now, the first part, what is my time? The time I can take as t, and the speed at which I'm traveling is 40 kmph. So let's keep it at 40 only. The second part is, of course, 6 minutes more than the one that I take in the morning. That is going to be 30 into t plus 2. Now you have to be careful that this t and t has a minute ka component. Okay. So let's solve it. This is going to be 40t, or you can get rid of the zeros over there. It's a 4t minus 3t that gives you directly a t. And this is 3 to the 6. So far, so good. Oh, sorry. Have I made any error? It's a 6 minute. I have mistakenly written it as 2 minutes. Sorry. 6 3s are 18. Okay, you guys have also not pointed out. Okay. So the time that I'm taking is 18 minutes. Okay. Now, please read the question carefully. What is it that they're asking? They're asking the distance from the home to the office. Now, you can substitute this t part, the t is equals to 18, in any one of these two cases. The answer is going to be the same. So obviously it is easier to substitute in the first equation. So that is going to be what? Distance is going to be 40 into t, which is 18. Now remember, this 18 is minutes. Okay. So obviously I need the distance in kilometers because of consistency of all the units. I cannot have kilometers per hour as a speed and minutes as time. It is not consistent. Always you will have to make it consistent. To make it consistent, I divide by 60. The moment I divide it by 60, it gets converted into R. Okay. Now 18 doesn't cut 60. Na? The table of 18 does not have 60. 18 5s are 90. So what can I do? I can do something like this. 6 3s are 6 10s are. And that, and again, I mean 10, this cuts out, and this is 12 kilometers. Okay. This is the distance. Guys, any one of you has any problem?
No.
Varun, it's okay, na?
Yeah.
Soumya and Varun Gopal to have given me answers, so I'm gonna straight away go to the next question. Okay. Guys, I'm gonna give you 2 minutes, and this question is again not at all different from what we have been practicing. We are only using the relation, the simple relation of time, speed, and distance to arrive. If you have realized what we have been doing so far, it's just a stretch, 2 stretches so far. One part of the journey is traveled at a at a speed, and the other part of the journey is travel at a different speed. It's just we are equating it one way or the other, right? So I am pretty much confident that you guys can solve it.
I have received an answer using allegations, but I'm not sure if it is right.
Ali, okay. Allegations. How can you do allegation in this question? But okay, fine.
Yeah, I'll send the answer to your private chat. Okay.
Okay, you can send it to the group also. I mean, I
Okay.
told the others who are like okay with not looking at the answer, they can just ignore the chat option. You can
Okay.
send it to the it's okay.
Not sure if it is right. Still.
Let's see. 100 and no.
No. Okay, that's wrong. All right, then I'll go with the regular method.
So these are the 2 speeds that you are sending me. Yeah, just see once if you are doing any calculation error and send
Find
me.
the distance covered at the 2 speeds. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go with the regular method. I was trying to make a shortcut.
Okay. Do it the usual way, and I'm pretty sure you can get the answer. I'm actually going to give you guys 2 methods to solve this one. And obviously the 2 methods are not very different from each other. It's just a matter of how we can optimize our timings.
Sir, is it 180, 120?
Ek second. Are you giving me the distances?
Yeah,
One of the distances 20.
Yeah, 180. It's
You are actually correct, Varun, and I'm very happy. Good job. Soumya, are you like? Do you want some time, or shall we like?
No, I think I messed up, so you can just start explaining.
All right. Let's look into how we can go about it. Obviously, the question seems to be very interesting. the same idea that we have been doing now, part of the journey at a speed and part of the rest of the journey at a different speed. The only thing that I am concerned is that there is a total distance that is given to me, and there's a total time also that is given to me. Okay. So if the total distance upon total time I do, I might get a value. Distance upon time should give me the speeds, right? Now, before I start explaining, or before I start, even taking a jab at this question, I just want you guys to realize that always it is advisable. I mean, not advisable, but it's always a good idea to first of all realize what the question setup is all. So I'm saying that, let's say the total distance I know it's given in the question is 300 kilometers. So I'm just, in my mind, I'm making sort of a pictorial representation that this could be like this. Okay. Part of the journey, I'm traveling at 45 kilometers per hour. Okay. Now, what is this stretch? Do I have any representation for this stretch? No. So let's assume something. Let's assume that this is D kilometers. Okay, D kilometers. What does this left the other part? That is obviously 300 minus D kilometers, which is, traversed at 60 kilometers per hour. Okay. Now, if you have realized that this 300 kilometers in all has been traversed by 3 hours, that means the time that I take to traverse this part and the time that I take to traverse this part, if I
Sir,
add.
it's 6 hours.
Yes, Varun?
I mean, you wrote 3 hours. I mean, it is 6 hours, right?
Oh, sorry. I made also Siri this thing. Yeah, 3 hours. Sorry. Thank you for that, Varun. So the first part ka time and the second part ka time should be equal to 6 hours, na? So far, so good, na, guys? So what I need to do is just make sense of what I get a time from these two variables that are given to me, deduce some idea for time, and similarly for this one. So distance upon speed is going to be the time. It's going to be D upon 45, mind you. Time for the first stretch, let me write it like this. Time for the stretch number 1 plus time of stretch 2 adds up to 6 hours. Time is distance upon speed. Speed is 45 kilometers. The other one is 300 minus D upon 60 kilometers per hour. And you can leave this at this time. All is equals to 6. Okay. So far, so good. It's a good equation, and this equation will give you the answer. Hopefully.
Sir, one doubt.
Yeah.
I have done like I took the time like x and 6 minus x. 45 into x plus 60 into 6 minus x is 300, and I got 180 and 120. Two difference. Is that?
I will go to that part. Just hold on.
Okay.
Can you solve this further? Because I got the exact same thing, but then when I solved it, I got 840.
Yeah. I'll solve it further. You want this part to be solved, no? I'll solve it. Don't worry.
No, but then like, what is D here?
D is the distance of the stretches, Soumya. This is, so if I am allowed, this is that D part, okay? Because obviously there are two parts to the journey, no? So the first part I am assuming as a D.
Okay.
And the second part is 300 minus D, because the total is 300 kilometers.
But then how can you do 300 minus 840?
300 minus 840. Where is 840?
Acha, when you solve this, won't we get 840? Or am I not doing it right?
Acha, let's see. I'm erasing this part, hoping that you guys have understood this. I'm just gonna write this part because I need some space. I'm just rewriting this part and then solving it along. And remember, this is just one method. And what is this method? I'm just equating the times. If you realize, Varun Gopal has said something, he has equated the uh, distances. So keep that thing in mind. I'll come back to that. Just hold that thought with you guys for a while. I'll come back to that thought. Okay. Just realize that it is a little tad bit difficult to do this thing, because obviously, fractional values and stuff. But let's see what we can do. So d upon 45 plus 300 minus d upon 60, that is equals to 6. Now obviously at this point I can't do much. I can just cross multiply. So what I can get is 60d plus 3 5s are 15, 3 4s are 12, 113, 13500, and then 45 minus 45d. Okay, I have brute force multiplied it. Okay, this first one, I'm just, let's use a implies that. Yeah. And then 45 into 60, I will say keep it at that is equals to 6. Okay. Now,
Wouldn't it be easier to take the LCM?
yeah. I am a little averse to taking LCMs. Like, if you're comfortable with LCMs, you can take the LCM.
Okay, but the answer will be the same, right?
Yeah, of course. The answer is going to be exactly the same. Either you multiply it brute force or you take the LCM. LCMs will give you a smaller numbers, but if you multiply it, obviously this will cut away. Okay, but this is still going to irritate you a little bit. So I'm just keeping it at that. Okay. So 60 minus 45, how much is this? 60 minus 40 is 20, 20 minus 5 is 15d. 15d plus 13500, very good, is going to be equal to 45 into 60, that is equals to 6. Now, a second, yeah. Beyond this, guys, there is only intelligent guesswork that I can do. So for example, in my mind, I'm just thinking, is 135 going to go in the table of 15? And I note the table of 15, that 15 nines are 135. So it really helps me with that. If not, you can check. And I'm pretty sure you have also understood it's a 15d plus something. So maybe I can take 15 common. So it's a d plus, sorry, 900 upon 45 into 60. Now you can cancel the 60 and the 15 or the 45, because both of them gets cancelled by this thing. So whichever you take, I don't mind. Okay, so I'm just cancelling the 60 because that is more, let's say, available to me. Now I am writing it over there. So this is going to be d plus 900 is going to be equal to 6 into 45 into 4. Now 6 4s are 24 and 24 into 45. Now, obviously, this is a little bit of calculation, so you cannot escape the calculation. 22, 10, 16, 2, 18, 2. 4 2 8, 2, 10, 1080. Okay. D plus 900 is equals to 1080. D comes out as how much? 1000 minus 900 is 100, so 180. So one of the distances, so okay, so I have cleared off that. So one of the distances is 180, the other distance is 300 minus d. If you remember it, 300 minus 100 is 200, and this comes out as 120. Okay, this is kilometers. So this is the answer, right? But obviously you can see that this takes a lot of time. Can be done, but it takes a lot of time. So generally speaking, what I have seen through my experience, it is always a good idea to sometimes work with the times, because time ka equation is easier than, or rather, using the variable time is easier. I'll tell you why. If you guys are okay with it, just give me a, hands up or whatever, thumbs up. I'll, get rid of this part and then I'll explain. Okay. Varun and Soumya, if you could just, yeah. Soumya, or do you need some time to internalize this?
No, I made a calculation mistake, but like I did the same thing.
Yeah, that's okay. And that is perhaps one of the things that I'm telling you, that there is a tad bit possibility that, if your mind is not working at your optimal capacity, there's a possibility that you can make mistakes. Ideally speaking, double check. You have to double check. Okay. I also make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. Now, what I was telling you is that if you realize they have asked you for the distances, right? And we were, in the first instance, we were equating the time. So time and time. If you realize, time is equal to distance upon speed. Okay. and distance is equal to what? Time into speed. Okay, that's just cross multiplication of this s to that side. uh, if I would have just worked with the time, you will see I'll not have to work around with this division part. What I'm saying is that yes, 300 kilometers is also there in the question. So I can also use the 300 kilometer. I can use the 300 kilometer or the total distance to figure out this thing. Let's see how. The total stretch, 300 kilometers, first part, second part. First part is traversed at 45 kilometers per hour. Second part is traversed at 60 kilometers per hour. So far, so good. Now, assuming the fact that I don't know about the times, but I think there is a total of 6 hours over there. If I cover 300 kilometers in 6 hours. Yeah. So if I cover the entire distance in 6 hours, guys, now pay attention. If I take any one of the stretches as t, I can take the other stretch as 6 minus t hours. This is the same thing, my dear friends. This is t hours and 6 minus t hours. We are just changing the variable. Initially, we were calculating for the total time. Now we are going to be calculating for the total distance. Now, what is distance? It is time into speed. Time is just there in front of you. And remember, first part plus the second part is going to give you the entire journey. And the entire journey, if you remember, is going to be of 300 kilometers. So distance for the first part is going to be what? Distance for the first part is going to be 45 into t, and the second part is going to be 60 into 6 minus t, if I am correct. This is equals to 300. Okay. Now, I'm just trying to do this mentally to just check if I can solve it like, oh, anyway, let's leave it. Let's leave it. 6 6 the 36. Okay, 360 minus 60t plus 45t, that is equals to 300. Okay. This is a simple calculation, not very difficult. Send the 360 to that side, or maybe whichever works for you. You can send the 60t and the 45t to that side. That will again give you a 15t. That is equals to what? 300 minus 360 gives you a 60. Okay. Now t comes out as 4. So this t is 4 hours, and this 6 minus 2, that is 2 hours. Now remember what they have asked. They have asked find the distances covered in the two speeds. The first distance will be 40. Distance is speed into time. Speed is 45. Time is 4 hours. So 45 kilometer per hour into time is 4 hour. This is the distance for the first stretch. 4 5s are 20, 16 and 18, 180 kilometers. Now, if this is the first stretch, you don't really need to calculate 60 into 6 minus t. Oh, you can do that. I mean, that is 120 right in front of you. You can do that also, and you'll get the same answer. 60 into 2, 60 into 2, 120. These are the two distances. But what I'm saying is, if you have gotten 180, just subtract from 300 to find the balance. That is 120. You can do any one of the approaches. The major thing is that when you are using the, let's say, distance as a variable in this case, equating the total distance, this expression is far more easier for me to calculate than the one which has, let's say, division in them. And in the division process, there is a possibility that we make some silly errors. And so we will tend to sort of ignore that. Am I clear with this one, guys?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, great. Let's go to the next topic, which is average speed. We have done enough understanding of this idea. Yep. Give me 1 second.
Sure, sir.
Let me sip some water.
And sir,
Hmm.
class would be towards one, right? I mean, I couldn't sleep yesterday. I had to walk. I had to see. The thing is that I had to walk through the forest for 5 kilometers, and there was a queue for 3 hours to reach the Sannidhanam, to reach the
Hmm.
main part of the temple. So we have to stay in the queue for 3 hours, and
Okay.
return
We will
to.
not stretch beyond one.
Okay,
Okay, I can
okay.
understand. Will not stretch beyond.
Or,
Anyways, I
or else
think
I was recording. That's the only thing because
you
just
okay. You don't have to watch recording. We'll keep it at till
okay,
one. Okay,
okay.
but there are a lot of ideas that I needed to discuss
Sure,
because
sure.
I wanted to cover at least till boats and streams car concept. But let's
Okay.
see
Yeah, sure.
average speed. So whenever we are talking about average speed, the template so far remains the same thing. Part of a journey, rest of the journey. So the template is something like this. Part of a journey. Hold on. Part of a journey is, let's say, traversed at 40 kilometers per hour, and rest at 60 kilometers per hour. Now, if you have paid attention, I'm using simple numbers so that our calculations and stuff become easy. The agenda will always be find average speed. Okay, now the very first thing that generally students have a misconception, the ones who are, let's say, practicing for the first time, they tend to think that average speed means we can just take the two numbers, add them, divide by 2, that is the average. Okay, so basically what I'm trying to tell you is that this is not equal to average of the speeds. Okay, this is not average of the speeds. Okay, you'll have to understand this thing. Okay, now when I say this is not average of the speeds, this also does not take away that one of the conditions could be, or one of the possibilities rather, I can say, one of the possibilities is that it could be equal to the average of the speeds, but that is not a general case. Okay, so in general, when we talk about average speed, we are not looking at average of the speeds. What we are looking at is, now I'm going to give you the formula, that average speed, and this is the only formula ish that you can remember, is the total distance upon total time. Now, what exactly is this total distance, total time, and why can't we use the idea of, let's say, average of the speeds? Could be an answer. Like, if you are hell-bent on poking me, okay, sir, no, but you have to like tell me where exactly is this total distance and total time coming in. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of hint, which I'm going to explain in, I mean, ahead of this class, I mean, in the next part, which is, this is not simple average. Okay, when we talk about average speed, this is actually weighted average. Okay, and the difference between simple average and weighted average is that in weighted average, you cannot just add the numbers and divide by 2. That is something which is an arithmetic mean. Okay, simple average is also called as arithmetic mean. You can't do that. To better explain that thing, I will have to take examples. Okay, now let's take an example. Okay, at this point, I think, Soumya, we have not covered the chapter on weighted averages, so it might just not I mean, stick to you. But I mean, from prior experience, if you obviously you have gone through some study material so far, so I'm assuming that you may know something about the weighted average part. The idea that I am sharing with you is that average speed is not simple average speed. Okay, it's weighted average speed, right? But we still call it average speed only. Now, just give me 1 second. So I'm going to take some cases, right? and the cases are going to be like this, that part of a journey is traveled and rest of the journey is traveled at a different conditions. Okay, the first condition that is given to me, and please remember that yes, we are using the same idea that part of this journey is covered at 40 kilometers per hour and the rest is covered at 60 kilometers per hour. If I'm not giving any other information, if I'm just giving you this much information, that part of the journey is traveled at 40 kilometers per hour, rest is covered at 60 kilometers per hour, and I'm not giving you anything related to the total distance or the total time or individual time between the parts and the distances and let's say the average speed, then you cannot solve it. So looking at this, just at this data, part at 40 and rest at 60, you cannot conclude anything. Okay, you cannot just say 40 plus 60 by 2 and it's 100 by 2, 50 kilometers per hour. Although 50 kilometers per hour is a special case. I'll discuss that. Now hold on. The first condition is part that I'm traveling at 40 kilometers per hour is given to me as 120 kilometers and the rest is given to me as 300 kilometers. This is one of the conditions. It could also be given to me in the questions itself that part of the journey is traveled at 40 kilometers per hour such that 1/3 of the total distance has been covered. Now please remember, these are the question types, that 1/3 of the total distance has been covered at 40 kilometers per hour. The rest of the journey, now how, if 1/3 has been covered, 2/3 is left or 2/3 is the rest. So 2/3 of the rest of the journey, you can say the total distance. The rest of the distance is covered in 60 kilometers per hour. Okay, these are two separate question types. The third one in this series could be that we are traveling from the same idea, Pune, Mumbai, and Mumbai to Pune. Okay, now what is this Pune, Mumbai thing? So I'm traveling from Pune to Mumbai at 40 kilometers per hour. I'm traveling from Mumbai to Pune at 60 kilometers per hour. Obviously, you can realize that the distance is same in this part. Okay. Now, the second type of question or the other type of question is that I'm writing it in a different color, which is, let's say part of the journey that is traveled in 40 kilometers per hour is 2 hours, or 2 hours of the journey is traveled at 40 kilometers per hour and rest of the journey, let's say 30 or 3 hours is traversed at 60 kilometers per hour. This is one of the question types. Okay, 1/3, if you realize, we are just writing the same thing, but instead of distance we are using time over there. 1/3 of the total time, 1/3 of the total time is traversed at 40 kilometers per hour. Obviously the the balance is 2/3 of total time. And the last one is that sometime, I have traveled for some time at 40 kilometers per hour and the same time I'm traveling at 60 kilometers per hour. Okay, the only thing that you need to, you can same time as earlier, you can write it like this also. Okay, now this O for orange and this is A for apple, just in case if you get confused, right? Some time and the same time as in earlier case, right? Now obviously please pay attention, the 6 cases, the first 3 are pertaining to distance and the next 3 is pertaining to time. The type of questions that will be asked to you in a exam condition are going to fall into the template of these types only. From average speed, I'm saying. Okay. Now, obviously, we'll take We'll understand all of these question types one by one, and then we will basically make a generalized assumption, or let's say a general idea we will create about the average speeds in general. Okay. Shall we start from the first one? At this point, I am going to ask you guys to take a screenshot because you might want to come back at this table again. If you want to write it also, you can write it, but it's far more easier to take a screenshot. Please give me a thumbs up when it's done. Okay, Soumya has given her, Soumya has raised the hand. Yeah. All right. So I think Varun Gopal is also done. Let's go to the first part, and I'm going to be writing things down again. Or can I do something? Can I do something? Let's do one thing, guys. Let's calculate it over there only, no? It'll be much more easier. Okay, I'm asking you to calculate for the average speed. Let's try to do it over there only so that we don't have to come back again and again. What did I tell you about the average speed? The formula is total distance upon total time, na? You can see the total distance is what? 120 in the first case plus 300. What is the total time now? Over here, time is given, but in a different format. So you'll have to deduce the time because speeds are given to you, remember, and distances are given to you for the two stretches. So what I can say, time is nothing but distance by speed. So it is going to be 120 by 40 plus 300 by 60. Now this is a simple enough calculation. We can do this calculation, right? There are enough and more zeros, so we can get rid of the zeros and we can get to the value very quickly. So this is 3 times, and this is 5 times. 5 and 3 is 8. This is 420 upon 8. That effectively comes down to 5 8 is a 42 0, 2 is a 16, 4 for 52.5 kilometers per hour. Okay, guys, I'm going to remove the calculation. I'm just going to be writing the average speed. I'm pretty sure that you guys don't have any problem. Okay, so I'm just going to write the average speed. I'm erasing this part. It's 52.5. I'm writing it over there. Okay, let's calculate for this one. Now, is this difficult? Because 1/3 and 2/3 and all that is given. Remember, if the total stretch is given to me, if I am assumed, if I'm told that, one part of it is 1/3, the other part is 2/3. If I just want to get rid of this 1/3, 2/3, the fractions, I might as well take the entire distance as 3, which is, if you see, nothing but a multiple of the denominator over there. Okay, take the denominator or a multiple of the denominator. So what is going to be 1/3 of 3? That is 1 itself, and 2/3 of 3 is 2. So instead of this 1/3 and 2/3, I can very well write it like d and 2d. This is 1/3, 2/3. I hope you have understood what I'm doing, right? So the average speed in this case is going to be what? Let's calculate. The total distance. Total distance is over there, d plus 2d. And what is the total time? Time remains the same, distance upon speed. So d upon 40 plus d upon 60. Okay. Sorry. This is 2d upon 60. 2 and this cuts by 30. So you have a 2 plus, and if you are a little smart at this time, you'll realize all the d's will get cancelled. So this is as good as 1 plus 2, that is 3 upon 1 upon 40, 1 upon 30. So let's do this. This is 40 plus 30, 70, and 40 into 30 in the numerator. 4 3s are 12 and double zero. One single zero cut. This is 360 by 7. Now 3 5s are 50. Sorry, 7 5s are 35. 1 0. 7 1s are 7. And 0 4 are 20. So 41.4 kilometer per hour. Okay. I'm pretty sure that you guys have understood the methodology through which I have calculated this. So I'm erasing all of this and I'm just keeping the, yeah, I'm just gonna keep the calculation. Okay. This is, I think this should be not very difficult. What is this? This is Pune, Mumbai, Mumbai, Pune. What does this signify? It can only signify that the total distance is same, right? It's a D. D plus D upon D by 40 plus D by 60. It's the same thing, right? Total distance, total time. Again, take D common and cut D throughout. Now this is 1 plus 1 upon 40, 1 upon 60. So this is nothing but 2 into 40 into 60 upon 40 plus 60. 40 plus 60 is what? It's 100. So this is 6 to the 12, 12 to the, sorry, 6 4 the 24, 24 to the 48. So 48 upon 4800 upon 100, that is 48 kilometers per hour. If you just pay attention, all that, continuously I'm getting a, reduced speed. Is there a significance to this? Maybe, maybe not. Let's see. Let's proceed ahead. Now we are going into the next territory in which we have time as a, this thing, right? In terms of time, the stretches are given 2 hours at 40 kilometers per hour, and then the next 3 hours at 60 kilometers per hour. So what do we do? Total distance. Obviously, we don't know the total, so total distance will be calculated. Distance ka formula in terms of time, what is? It is time into speed, na? Sorry. Yeah, time into speed is distance. Speed is already given 40. Time is given 2 hours. So total distance for the first stretch is 40 into 2. The next stretch is 60 into 3. Total time. This time it is going to be easy, very easy. 2 plus 3. 2 plus 3 is 5. This is 80 and this is 180. 80 and 180 is 260. 260 by 5. 5 5s are and 2s are 52 kilometers per hour. Okay. Let's do this one. Again, remember what is the idea over there. Total distance, total time is 3t. 1/3 of that is t and 2/3 of that is 2t. So obviously this part is going to be 40 into t plus 60 into 2t divided by t plus 2t. Needless to say, again, you can get rid of the t throughout. So this is 120 plus 40. What is 140? Sorry, 120 plus 40, 160 upon 3. Now this basically boils down to 5s are 15, 53.3333, whatever. Okay.
Okay.
And the last one. Now please write it somewhere, or maybe obviously the recording will be there.
But there's a frequent change in the average speed.
Yeah. I'll tell you why is there a frequent change.
Yeah.
Obviously, the cases are all different, Varun.
Okay.
You realize that the moment I change the distance or the moment I change the time, there will be a constant change in the,
all right,
let's say, the average speed. I'll show you why I am doing all of this. I'll show you.
Okay.
Just hold on. Okay. And the others also. Let's calculate this one. Obviously, total distance 40t plus 60t upon t plus t. That is what? 2t. Okay. Now this is as good as 40 plus 60 by 2. That is nothing but a
50.
what? 50 kilometers per hour. Now, my dear friends, is this not the average of the speeds? So in fact, this is the average of the speed, and this is a specific case of all these cases when average speed is actually equal to the arithmetic mean
Okay.
or the simple average. But that is only when the time is constant throughout the intervals, whichever intervals you take. Over here, we're just considering two intervals. Part 1, rest.
Okay.
Now let's generalize. If you want to take a screenshot, maybe take a screenshot. And the major highlight over there is that every time we change the parameters, the average speed keeps on changing.
Mhm.
Soumya and Varun, do you guys have any query? Do you want to say anything, add anything? If it's okay, just you can like give a thumbs up, and that's
No, sir. Nothing.
okay. Soumya also. Soumya, just next to the raise hand option, there is a react option. You can maybe send a thumbs up through that also. Because if you raise your hand, probably I'll think that you have a query. Anyways, all right. So now let's generalize. I'm erasing all of this. So if you probably want to take a screenshot, take a screenshot. Or don't worry, you have the recording, so chill. What I'm trying to tell you is now I'm writing a general case for the average speed. Okay. Which is, let's say, the only thing that you can take away from all this calculation is that some distance d1 when traversed at a speed s1, some distance d2 which is, let's say, traversed at speed 2, and so on and so forth, d3, d4, d5, whatever, doesn't matter. All of this, the average speed can
Total
be
distance
written.
traveled by total time taken.
Yes, this is d1 plus d2 plus
Plus
d3
D3 by
plus,
D1 by S1 plus D2 by S2 plus
yes,
D3.
d1 upon s1 plus d2
D2
upon
by
s2.
S2 by D3 by S3.
Okay, now this is the general case of the average speed. Now you must have realized why I had to do that elaborate calculation just to arrive at this idea. Okay, this is the idea of average speeds. Okay, now there is a specific case. Please remember, I cannot take you back to the screen, so you'll have to go back to your screenshots, whatever. That there was a specific case in which the distance was same in the first three cases. The last case was when the distance was same: Pune, Lonavala, Lonavala, Pune, or like Pune, Mumbai, Mumbai, Pune, right? When the
Yeah.
distance is same, you may have seen the average speed could very well be calculated like this. It's actually the harmonic mean, but I didn't wanted to use the word harmonic mean. But the harmonic mean can be calculated like 2 into S1 into S2 upon S1 plus S2. This is something that I have used only when the distances are same. Average speed can be calculated through the formula of harmonic mean. I'm not even asking you to remember any of this. So yes, I'm showing you the, let's say, the general cases, but I'm not asking you to remember. The only thing for all practical purposes that you should remember is this formula. Okay. Now, if you have understood the general case for the formula with the distance is given to you, let me also give you, suppose the part of the journey at a time t1 is covered at s1, some other stretch is traversed at a time t2 at the speed s2, some other stretch at t3 speed 3, and so on and so forth. In that case, the average speed will be s1 t1 plus s2 t2. Now what is s1 t1? That is the distance in that stretch. S1 is speed into time, that is distance. Distance 1, if you would just recall to this part, d1, d2, s2, d2, s3, t3, and obviously so on and so forth, upon t1 plus t2 plus t3. Now, this is also one of those ideas that you can keep in your mind. But obviously, like any one of them, if you have in your mind, the other can very well be derived. Okay, so these are derived ideas. If you're okay with this much, I just want to ask you, like, if you want to take a screenshot, you can take a screenshot, or don't worry, you can have the recording with you. Now, the very important thing that generally I have seen students getting confused with, that average speed is, sir, average of the speeds, 40 kilometers plus 60 kilometer by 2. Now that is a very, very, very specific case, and that specific case is only when the time is constant across different intervals. When time is constant across different intervals, you will realize that the average speed is nothing but S1, T1 is constant, so you can take all the T outside and you can write it as T only. So S1 plus S2 plus S3 plus whatever dot 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 till N. Okay. What does N represents? N basically represents the number of intervals, right? And this, my dear friend, is nothing but the arithmetic mean of N terms. Is that okay?
Yes.
Now, let me take, okay, just, okay, sorry. Let me take you back to the idea once again. Average speed, if I'm allowed to write this in terms of the time that I wrote, that I, wrote just now, S1 T1 plus S2 T2 plus S3 T3 upon T1 plus T2 plus T3. Now, just observe, okay, observe. Soumya, you have not, we have not done the classes on arithmetic, um, average mixtures and alligation, but we will do that in this week, so don't worry. But just in case, just observe, we have done this class, and in the classes I have explained you, in the classes of weighted average, that weighted average can always be written as the average into the weight 1, average 2 into weight 2, average 3 into weight 3, and so on and so forth upon the weights W1, W2, W3,
Total
and
distance traveled by total time taken. That's only.
yeah, but
S1 T1 plus, yeah, understood.
but pay attention to a more important idea.
Yeah.
The weights for which I am calling this entire concept of weighted or rather average speed as a weighted average speed is because the weight is pretty evidently the times, because over there you can see the denominators are all weights, na? So weights in the case of average speed or the weighted average speed is nothing but the time. Now I'm not going to digress too much, but let me just give you a simple idea. If we have given you the idea of average speed as weighted average, so alligation will also be not far apart, right? Alligation will also be there, but we'll discuss that in a while. Let's do some questions now. I hope that the theory is fine with you. Let's do some questions.
Okay. Yeah.
I travel for first 100 kilometers at a speed of 50 kilometers per hour, the next 1 hour at a speed of 40 kilometers per hour, and the rest of the journey at a speed of 60 kilometers per hour. If the average speed of the entire journey is 52 kilometers per hour, find the duration and the distance of the entire journey. Now, this seems like a little bit of a twisted question, but then it's not difficult. Remember, average speed is total distance by total time. If all of you guys will allow me, I can solve it. Or if you guys want,
Oh, on it. Just 1 minute, please.
okay. Varun and Soumya, you also take a minute, and after that we'll solve it together. Okay, we'll keep this class till average speeds only. We'll discuss boats and stream in tomorrow's session, because if I get into boats and stream, I would want to finish it off entirely, and it'll take m- more than an hour. So obviously we don't have that much amount of time tonight. Tomorrow we'll do that. Okay. Soumya, will you be available tomorrow in the night with this class?
I'll try. Not
Okay.
sure.
Okay. Okay. But I will suggest that please do, because TSD is an important area, and in 2 3 classes it'll be over. So yeah, whichever works for you, just see.
So is that answer?
Uh, एक second. I have to check the chat option. एक second. It's 260, 26, no, 260, right? You're writing 260.
Yeah. Wait. One.
So, no, Varun. The
No.
answer seems to be a little off the chart.
Okay. Wait. Let me see.
Guys, I don't care if you make mistakes at this point. I honestly don't care. What I want you to do is at least internalize the question, understand what the question is. You can scribble it. You can make silly mistakes. I don't mind. I don't care. What I want is that internalize the question, so that when we start solving, it does not, irritate you, right? That where are the variables coming from, and so on and so forth. There is one more question, and then we will be done with it. Actually, there are some questions. 2 more questions. If you realize there are 3 stretches or 3 parts to the journey,
Sir, am I audible?
yeah.
Yeah. There are 3 parts of the journey, right?
Yeah.
So, first 100 kilometer at a speed of 50 kilometer per hour. That means 100 is one part of the total distance, right?
Yeah.
And time taken to travel is 2 hours for that single phase.
Yeah.
And the next 1 hour he travels 40 kilometer per hour.
Hmm.
That means 40 kilometer that means phase one,
Yeah.
phase two, total 140. And
Hmm.
rest of the journey he travels 60 kilometer per hour. Let's take the time x so
Yeah,
that.
well, okay, I'll just stop you over there, because
Okay,
I will also solve it like that only. So there's no point
okay.
going ahead.
Yes, okay.
Varun, you want to say something, kya?
I did. I took the total distance. 140 plus x, and average speed 2 plus 1 plus x by
Wonderful,
60
wonderful.
equals
Hold on. What did you do? 140 plus 60.
sorry, 140 plus x
Okay. Why is
by
it 6 and not something else? So you're going in the right direction, but you missed by a tad bit. Okay, I'm convinced you will be able to solve it. I'm convinced. Okay. Soumya, can you please give me some confirmation? Or else I'll just start off explaining this one. Okay. Soumya said chat option mein she says that we can start off with the explanation bit, right? So simply we'll do the same idea that we have been doing so far, and that is I'll consider the 3 stretches. You don't have to do any of this thing in your copies or wherever, right? I'm doing it to explain you. This basically makes the entire journey. Now just write down whatever information is given to you. The first stretch, the speed is 100 kilometers per hour. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. It's 100 kilometers. The distance is 100 kilometers. I have actually written it correct only, but let's write it like that. Speed is 50 kilometers per hour. Distance is 100 kilometers. So obviously the logical thing that will follow is the time for this stretch, and the time obviously will be 2 hours. I hope that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Now what about the next part? The next part, I have some 1 hour that is given to me. The time is 1 hour. What else? 40 kilometers per hour. Speed is 40 kilometers per hour. So the logical step over there is the distance part, which is 40 kilometers for 1 hour. So obviously I'm covering a distance of 40 kilometers itself. Na? So far so good. Now the third part. Third part, I know that the speed is how much? It's 60 kilometers per hour. Okay. And nothing else. No speed, no distance, nothing. So I will explain the idea of Varun first, Varun Gopal first, and then I'll go to what Varun was saying, right? That is right. I'm assuming that the distance over there is x kilometers, okay? And the time is distance upon speed, which is x upon 60, okay? And my dear friends, if you realize, the average speed is also given. The average speed is 52 kilometers per hour. Okay, now obviously this thing plus this thing plus this thing is equals to this part, right? So all I need to do is to calculate for the average speed is the total distance upon the total time. So the total distance over there comes out as how much? Can anybody quickly tell me? That is 100 plus 40, 140 plus x, divided by what is the total time? 2 plus 1, that is 3, 3 plus x upon 60, that is equals to 52. Now this is something that is given to us as a part of the statement. This is according to the question. Now before we solve further, I just wanted to let you know that please don't multiply 3 and 60 and then send the 60 to the RHS. That ways the question will become very difficult to solve. What I
I mean, I
want you,
did the same thing, sir. Here.
yeah, what I want you to think of it, just think of this as a single entity and then send it to the RHS. That ways it becomes much more easier to solve. Okay. Now, if you guys are okay with this much, you may want to take a screenshot, or I'll just erase everything. And I have the recording on, so I'll just want a quick response, all of you. Is it okay? Can I remove
Yes.
everything so that I can do the calculation?
Yeah.
Okay. So 140 upon x divided by 3 plus x upon 60, that is equals to 52. That was given to me. Now, as I just now told you, that don't individually multiply, just send the entire thing to that side, use it like a single entity. So what does this becomes? This becomes 140 plus x, that is equals to 3 2s are 6, 3 5s are 15, and this is obviously 52x upon 60. Now take this 52 upon x to the LHS and this 140 to the RHS. So this becomes x minus 52 x upon 60, that is equals to 156 minus 140 is what? It's very easy. It's 16 only. And 60 minus 52 is 8 only. So 8x upon 60 is equals to 16. I cut this thing by 2. X comes out to be 120. Now remember, what is x? X was the distance that I was traveling, right? The next 1 hour at the speed at 40 kilometers per hour. and the rest of the journey at the speed of 60 kilometers. Yeah, this is the distance only, 160 kilometers. And I needed to find out the time also. Time is going to be what? X upon 60, because the third stretch we are looking at. Na? So for the third stretch, the duration we have already calculated, which is 120 kilometers, and the distance of the entire, okay, second, distance of the entire journey, na, the entire journey will be 140 plus 120, which is, have I made any errors?
Sir, you've gone wrong somewhere. Like
No, no,
X.
it's not.
Let me say. Let me say, please. X is 120 kilometer. That means
Hmm.
the third phase distance is 120 kilometer. And
Hmm.
if it's being given that for the rest of the phase, speed is 60 kilometer per hour. That means T must be 2 hours.
And it's correct.
Yeah,
It's
correct.
correct.
Yeah. So total has to be
Yeah, yeah. Total is not 120,
two,
it's 300.
total is 120 plus 40
Sorry.
plus 100.
Yeah, 260.
260. I've got the answer. I mean, I've got the same answer.
Yeah. Maybe, I mean,
Yeah.
it's okay. 260
So
kilometers.
I took that in different way. Like,
Actually thought it's, I may have misread I thought it's asking for that duration, just that stretch. Okay.
I've taken
Find
that
the,
60 into x by x, like 60. So the
yeah,
calculation was a bit easier.
yeah. I'll do that. Hold on.
Okay.
Just hold on. Okay. This was method number 1, by the way.
Okay.
Okay, this was method number 1. I'll solve it with the times approach also. What, a silly error that happened. It was not even an error. It was just a
Yeah.
miscalculation. That was I thought the duration for that distance for that duration, okay, which was 120. Unfortunately, they're asking for the distance of the entire journey, which
Yeah.
is 120 plus 140. That is 260. So yeah, 260 kilometers is one part of the answer. But what is the duration for that stretch? Find the duration for that stretch. That is going to be x upon 60. If you remember, this is something that we calculated. So 120 upon 60 gives me 2 hours. So this is another part of the answer. However, too much calculation. Okay, if you are in school standards, I would be very happy. I'll pat your back also, that well done. But you are obviously not in your school standards, and time is a remedy on which we are all operating. So what we need to do is, we'll need to optimize our method. How do we optimize? See, remember, average speed can also be calculated with this formula, na? S1 T1 plus S2 T2 upon T1 plus T2. Because we have 3 stretches, so I'm writing S3 T3 plus T3. This is equals to 52. S1 T1 and S2 T2 collectively is 140. That I know for a fact from my prior calculation. Okay. What about the distance of the other part? This is where Varun was making an error. If I can understand this. Okay.
Yeah.
If I'm allowed to write this thing also. Okay. First part, second part, third part. Okay. 50, what is the second part given? 40 and 60 kilometers per hour, kilometers per hour, kilometers per hour. Okay, this is the speed. The distances are given for this part as 100, this part is 40. We deduced this part because of the other explanation. Time is 2 hours. Over there, the time was given as 1 hour. And the third part, they haven't said anything. So what we ended up assuming as the distance to be x and the time to be obviously distance upon speed, which is x upon 60, right? Now, if I have to calculate for the distance of the part 3 stretch, what is it going to be? It is going to be speed, so time into speed, na? Or am I making any mistake? Ek minute, let me check. Is it distance is equal to time into speed? So yeah, my mind is also not, it has just Why are
Let,
we using x? Okay, just Varun, just hold on 1 second. Yeah.
okay.
Why are we take it as t only, na?
Yeah.
Take it at t only.
60
And
into t
this
is the
thing,
distance.
yeah, and this is 60t. I
Just
was
add
also,
it,
yeah.
divide
So
it.
this is 60t, and this is what, t plus this
3
part
plus
I
t.
know,
3
3
plus t.
3 plus t, that is
52.
equals to 52.
52 into
So
3, 156.
yeah, 156.
Plus
Yeah,
52t
that
is equal
is
to 140. 16t is equal to 16 is equal to 8t. T is equal to 2.
and now you can just
So
substitute this value
yes,
to calculate for the time that they have asked for the duration,
duration.
and you can also use to calculate the distance of this stretch, which is
Yeah.
120 kilometers, and then add all of this 140 and
140,
120, giving you
260,
260. And that is
5 hours.
so okay. After doing all this thing, ultimately what I'm trying to arrive at is that I have given you both the methods, and both the methods are sacrosanct. It's not like one is erroneous and the other one is correct. No, both of them are very good. Whichever one you inherently stick to it. Don't make calculation mistakes, don't make silly mistakes, and just optimize your way. Obviously, because we have done questions as a faculty, so uh, I have to show you different and different methods, but whichever you stick to, that is going to be okay. I don't mind. Okay, but you have to be mindful of the methods that you're sticking out. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Hold on. Two more, or a couple of more questions. Guys, it's almost 1, so I don't know if you guys want to, let's say, take a question. So
We'll do this question and
we'll do this question, and both of you, Soumya and Varun, I think if you guys would also agree to me, if you guys want to sleep on, I don't want to, like, it's already 1 hour 54 minutes, so we have done a 2-hour session, so don't worry. Tomorrow we'll continue from this one, and this is a big chapter, so it will take 2-3 sessions. Yeah. So this is the last question. I hope you guys will be okay with this much. The last question, and then we are sorted. This is actually a very easy question. Okay. Remember, this is one of the specific cases of the distance being same. And when the distance is same, remember what we used as a, the average speed, that is the harmonic mean. So distance is same, harmonic mean, average speed is going to be what? 2 into S1 into S2 upon S1
yeah.
plus S2. All you need to plug in the numbers and the answer will be just in front of you. Average speed is given to you, that is 72 kilometers per hour. Okay.
Okay.
And S1 is 60.
This is the irrespective of the speed, if equal distance, like right.
Yeah.
This case is used.
Yeah. Now what can I do? Let's reduce it. 36, and then I can further reduce as 10 and 6. Okay, 6 is the 36, 360 plus 6x is equal to 10x. Okay, now obviously 10x minus 6x is 4x. 4x is 360. X comes out as 90. This is what I think they have asked, and x is the speed, so it is going to be 90 kilometers per hour.
Okay.
Now, can I solve this question with the method that was discussed to me?
That
The
plus d by, yeah.
Yeah, the usual method. Of course, we can
D
solve
by
it like
t
that.
plus d by x.
I actually, guys, before we wind up now, I just want to explain one more thing. So please hold on. Yeah, all of you. I'm sorry. I'm just digress. I'm just going to be taking 5 more minutes, and then
Okay.
we're done with it. There is a problem with these type of formulas. Let me tell you. If you are somebody who revere the formulas a lot, let me tell you, these are the complications with this formula. So remember, this is a derived formula. This is not a formula for average speed. This is a derived formula. What I mean by that is that a very specific case related to this situation, we can use this formula. I'll give you a question in which case this formula also goes out for a toss. Let me give you that question. Yeah. So I just, remembered that I created the slides, and this is one of those questions which is going to same question. Travel from Pune to Mumbai and return back along the same path. That is Mumbai to Pune. Distance is same. If I travel from Pune to Mumbai at a speed of 30 kilometers per hour, at what speed should we return back, or I return back? I think they have misquoted something. Should he return ke jagah should I return hona chahiye?
This is 2s1 s2 by s1 plus s2 equal to 60.
Yeah. The same
2
thing.
into 30 into x by 30 plus x is equal to
Let's
60.
do that.
Okay.
Let's do that. Let's use the derived formula. 2 into s1 into s2 upon s1 plus s2, and this is what? The average speed. Average speed of the entire journey is given as 60. One of the distances is given as 30 into s1, and the other one is, let's say, 30 plus s1, right?
Yeah.
So 60 gone. S1 is equal to 30 plus S1. S1 goes, 0 is equal to 30. Now see the formula. And let me tell you one thing, there is nothing wrong with the question. The question is absolutely perfect, but the formula is going out for a toss.
Okay.
This is what happens when we blindly, or let's say brainlessly, apply derived formulas.
Okay.
Remember, the formula of the average speed, which is total distance by total time, may help us in this part.
Okay.
If you guys would just allow me, if you guys have understood thus far, let me explain you. I'm not going to give you any time to think, unfortunately, because we are anyways running short of time. So
do it, please.
yeah. I'll do it. Just give me 1 second.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, I was thinking that what is the next question in line? Just give me 1 second. Yeah.
Is this question wrong?
No.
Oh.
Question is perfectly fine. This is the next question. Yeah. Okay. One more question. Chalo koi na. We'll manage at this one. Okay. See, I traveled from Pune to Mumbai and returned back along the same path, and everything seems perfect. Now, what I need to do is we are solving it the usual way, right? So there is one stretch of the journey, one part of the journey, another part of the rest of the journey. Obviously, this adds up to the entire journey. Okay. What are the things that are handy to me? Speed is given to me. The first part is 30 kilometers per hour. Second part, I have no idea. Question mark. Entire journey ka average speed is given to me, which is 60 kilometers per hour. Okay. Now distance for this part, we can take the same distance. Okay. In this part also, the distance is going to be same, because it's the same Mumbai, Pune, Pune, Mumbai, right?
Okay.
What about the time? The time is going to be distance upon speed, d upon 30. And what about this one? This is something that should give me 60. Sorry. This is 60, we know as a matter of fact, but the distance is going to be what if I have to extrapolate for the entire journey? It is 2d, right?
2D.
Okay. So what about the time? Average speed
2D
is
by,
given to, yeah.
2D by d by 30.
2d by 60, which is as good as, if I cut this is equals to d by 30. Okay. Now,
can I ask you something, please?
yeah.
Here, distance is the same. So total distance is 2D.
Yeah.
Right. And we have to get the speed of the second phase, right?
Yeah.
So total distance travel by total time taken.
Yeah.
So total time taken is 2d by d by 30 plus d by s, isn't it?
एक second, Varun. What is last part? Just the last part. What we were saying in the last part?
30 kilometer is the speed of the first phase, and
Yeah,
let us say x kilometer is the speed of the second phase.
yeah,
And average speed is total distance traveled by total time taken,
yeah.
and time taken for the first phase is d by 30.
Uh-huh.
Time taken for the second phase is d by s.
Uh-huh.
So we calculate it, and
So how is this 2D by 30 coming into the picture? That's what you're asking, yeah?
yeah,
Basically, see, this is the average speed that is given, or let's say the average speed of the entire journey, that is 60 kilometers, but the total distance I know, na? And the
yes,
total time also I know, based upon the formula distance upon speed. I'm just
okay,
using it for this expression, okay?
okay,
I'm just calculating for the time. I'm not equating it for the total distance. So
okay,
the problem that you may be thinking is that why is it that I'm not doing total distance by total time? I'm just looking at the time part, not
okay,
the average speed. Average speed is still total distance by total time.
okay,
I'm just looking at the what is the time through which the 60 km/h is getting traversed at. Because 2D is my distance,
yeah,
obviously the time at which 2D will be covered is 2D by 60, which
mm,
is D by 30, and everything so far is so good.
mhm,
The only problem, however, is that this thing has to be zero. Okay. Only if
okay,
this thing is zero, only then I can get d upon 30 is equals to d upon 30, which effectively means that the speed at which I travel, forget about the distance, the speed at which I travel,
zero,
this is yeah, this
Inf-
is it has to be instantaneous. Like
okay,
with a blink of eye, you have to travel back.
okay,
In other words, the question is okay, but the data
that's wrong.
is inconsistent.
Inconsistent, okay,
Okay, what do I mean by that? If you just pay attention, guys. Okay, now I'm erasing everything and just making things okay for you. More question left. I don't know if I should say this. You guys are gonna kill me now. You guys will kill me now. This is the only question which is. If somebody wants to go, I will not leave them. I mean, I will not say anything. If anybody wants to go, you can go.
we'll
But
leave
this
this
is the
sorry, we'll do this question,
yeah.
last
This
question.
is the only one in the average speed, and average speed will be done then. Okay,
Yeah, I cover
and
up.
and this one I will solve with allegations. Okay, you can solve it with the usual method also.
I'll say allegation. So if I cover 300 kilometer total 6 hours, then average speed 300 by 6.
Yeah, Soumya, I'll leave. We'll watch that. Okay, Soumya, if you have a problem, you can leave. Okay, okay. Bye. Good night.
35, 60.
I cover a part of a journey at 45 kilometers per hour and the rest of the journey at 60 kilometers per hour. If I cover a total of 300 kilometers in total of 6 hours, this is a question that we did actually
Yeah,
earlier.
we did it.
Yes.
But in allegation method, I couldn't get the proper answer. That's why
Yeah, 45, 30,
30,
306. What does that mean? The
50.
average is this 50, na? It is
Yeah,
50.
50.
Now take allegation. So you
So
let's do it.
it's 60, right? Not 30. 60,
Yeah, sorry,
45,
sorry.
60.
Sorry, yeah, not 30. So let's not do it this way. Let's do it this way. 60 minus 50 is 10. 50 minus 45 is what? 5.
We
2
we
is
didn't
to
get
1.
2:1. Yeah.
What is this 2 is to 1? This is where you have to understand. Soumya left, but Soumya would have understood this thing. This is what is this ratio? This
Speed.
ratio? No, this is
No.
the ratio of time.
Holy
Because
shit.
remember, dude, what is it that I told you guys that the in allegation the ratio is what you get of the weights.
Okay.
These are the averages, the speeds. Okay,
Okay.
a1 w1, a2 w2, a3 w3, and this is what the weight ka ratio you are getting, or the time ka ratio. In other words, in the question it has given to you that one of the parts has been covered. If I cover 45 kilometers at oh sorry, the total time is given as 6 hours. That means if 3 parts corresponds to 6, one part will correspond to 2 hours,
Two,
and then 2 part
four,
will correspond to 4
4
hours.
hours.
What this means, this in the actual scale it is 4 hours, and in actual scale this is 2 hours. Now what does this represent? What is the question that they are asking? Find the distances covered at the two stretches. Can we not calculate the distance now? One is the speed that is given to me, 45 kilometers per hour. Time is also given, 4 hours. Can I not calculate? Just multiply 45 into 4. 4 5s are 20. This is 180.
180 and 120.
120.
Okay.
So yes,
I did this, but actually I took the allegation and compared that with this uh, distance. I made mistake there.
yeah. Okay. With this question, officially the average
Okay.
speed is over, and from next class, we'll be discussing boats and streams. So
Okay.
before we leave the session, guys, I just wanted to tell you one thing. Okay. I am just gonna turn down the recording.